abolitionists with the vision gift, seeing the deliverance from the ignorance, cognitive dissonance. Future, I envision this. On and off the mic, I speak right like this is what the mission is. I know the wisdom biz and overstand like who, no one bear that witnesses. I am the power refined, God man. Equity too high to equal the caveman. God's son, true builder of the land. Destroyer of the demons, I'm a poppin' where they stand. Word of biz, born exposing, oppose a plan. Stevie Benny, microphone Jones with a forced hand. The next level cipher writer, spark the minds, I light the fire. Call me Mr. Mystifier, I'm used to gift and lift us higher. With the frequency that frequently fit, inspire. Elders and young thugs that do what they do, where they do what they thumbs. We think they lazy, they think we dumb. We put the work in system that a system do be numb. Make them good Christians, but don't link them to where they from. So I write rhymes with them ancient guidelines. I fight crime sitting on the sidelines. But when they got the blind eyes, I just treat them like they dumb.
When knowledge get done, unified we're one. The race we run, before they shot that gun.
To the knowledge.
When knowledge gets done, unified we won. The race we run, before they shot that gun.
To the knowledge.
One's not with me. Twist your loud, get your double shots of yak. Sit down, have a talk with me. I'm from an era where certain shit just couldn't fly. You tell another man, suck your dick, you might die. These new dudes got it confused, thinking it's a game. Until somebody hitting at their ass, bringing the pain. But that's the plan, they want us to kill ourselves. Our existence is up to us, no one else is responsible for raising our daughters and the queens and our sons and the kings. Teaching them everything about necessary tools we need to use for survival. It's way bigger than reading Qurans or the Bible. That's gonna go over the heads of many. Thick skin, homie, I got plenty. So I'll be ready for the backlash and slander coming from my own people. It's sad to say, but we'll never equal our full potential as long as we following what they teach us. Telling lies, all in 8 books, it never reach us. At least us, the ones with some knowledge of self. But trying to wake my people up is a struggle with self. Instead of begging for a seat at their table, let's build one. As soon as they try to violate, let's kill one. That's where my heart at. A couple hundred years of the same treatment gave us Obama, so we think we even. I ain't believing none of this bullshit, them puppeteers speaking, telling us lies each and every weekend. Banana in the tailpipe tactics. To tell the truth, I feel we moving backwards. We got a lot of actors playing the part, but it ain't in their heart, so what's it worth? Got brothers dressing up like chicks, toting the purse. Everybody capitalizing off us. We ain't too far from giving up our seat on the back of the bus.
When knowledge get done, unified we're one. The race we run, before they shot that gun.
Knowledge.
When knowledge gets done, unified we won. The race we run, before they shot that gun.
To the knowledge.
Yeah, peace and black power, family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place for knowledge is born. It's your host, Knowledge Born a Lot. We got the RBG Squares in the building. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all remember that show, Hollywood Squares? But we ain't repping no Hollywood. We repping that RBG hood. You see what I'm saying? So we got the family assembled for this amazing experience. So welcome to the platform. No strangers to the platform. I know y'all seen these two Africans together at all times. You understand what I'm saying? And then, hey, when they get together, it's poetic. You see what I'm saying? So when Akil and Knowledge Ball 7 get together, it's poetic. You see what I'm saying? So it's only right to have poetics in the building. Let's discuss this event. Peace and black power to my family, man. How y'all doing, man? What's going on?
Man, Imhotep, all praise to divinity in our lineage.
Peace. Man, appreciate you having me on the show. All praises to the Most High. We definitely got a fire show coming up. Health and healing. It's coming up this weekend. Man, look forward to it.
Man, what's the plan, man? Buckle dialect. So many hats. So many hats. He got the turban on today. You understand what I'm saying? He's like, man, look, man, throw these hats off, put this turban on. Let's elevate. You know what I'm saying? Talk to us, Kenny Ken. Kenwardo Akil, man. Talk to us, man.
Yeah. You know, we got the show, man. You know, Vocal Dialect presents the SunGoddess Experience. October the 29th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You know, it's gonna be at the Omenala Griot. You know what I mean? We got, you know, the brother Poetics, he gonna host the show. You know, we got the brother Obasi, you know, he gonna speak about African spirituality. You know what I mean? We got Dr. Nicole Benton, she gonna talk about mental health. You know, we got Mama Earth, she gonna be talking about holistic wellness. You know, we got the brother Sincere. He go drop a few bombs, you know what I'm saying? A few pieces, you know what I mean? Peace out to the brother Sincere. We love you, brother. Appreciate you too. You know, we'll get down. You know, we got the Vince, you know. Yeah, we got the brother SKS, you know what I'm saying? Go get down on the mic, and you know we can't do it without the vengeance in the house, you know what I mean? So we're gonna be talking about all that healing, spirituality, you know what I mean? We're gonna talk about our mental health, you know, we gonna drop bombs, you know. Go to Eventbrite, Vocal Dialect, you know, on IG, that's Vocal with a K, and also Facebook. The event is in the link is in the bio, so go to it, you know, get your tickets now. You know, $10 because, you know, at the door it'll be $15. You know, the link is going to be at the top of this feed and in the description. So come on through. Not only we going to enjoy ourselves, but we gonna be giving a lot of informative information too, man. So that's what we're about.
Definitely come out. We're gonna be dropping a lot of jewels. You know, as far as dealing with the mental health in our community is needed. Somebody get hurt on a job or an accident, just one of the little Fortune 500 companies, they send them to see a psychiatrist. So even in that, we have been through hundreds of years of slavery and the continuation of disrespect towards our culture and people who have disrespected our culture. We still have to deal with culture vultures. And so the mental disease, you know what I'm saying, has really played a major key and a part in us. You know, when we let our enemy food, clothe, and teach us, this is what happens. So come out and get the information. It's going to be very good information. It's going to be knowledgeable information. And this is a show that will be sold out. If you don't catch it, you will miss a great show. Very informative, and I'll be dropping a lot of jewels as well. Before I on the itinerary before I introduce the brother Poetics.
No doubt. And just honestly, brothers, as a host, the topic of mental health is one that's really it's just a real, it's a great topic. It's a large topic, and it's important because we have ability to confuse mental health as just the effect. We address mental health as just the effect, and we never address the underlying causes of our mental effects. One thing I always say is that we cannot heal in the same environment in which we are scarred in. And so I feel like a lot of our mental health illnesses come from the environment and the circumstances that we live in. So we want to address that as well. And me as the host, you know, I'm a spoken word artist as well, in the free spirit. And I want to address the issue of mental health from that point of view. You know, we want to get to the real underlying issues of what's going on in our societies and how we're relating to it. And one thing I always want to stay away from is the mainstream media narrative of what mental health is and what it isn't. So I'm going to do my best in order to dive into the minds of Dr. Benton, dive into the psyche of mental health awareness. Because it is something that affects it, but we got to approach it with the right lens and the right frame.
Ken, you like the mastermind. So give us a little background of the story, man. You see what I'm saying? Some of the you know, the things that kind of go into it. Oftentimes we just see flyers and stuff like that, but we don't really, you know, share like some of the stuff that go into having events. And I know Vocal Dialect, y'all had a bunch of events already. You see what I'm saying? So like, what's some of the things that go into putting an event of this magnitude together? You know what I'm saying? Kind of share something.
Man, hey, you got to stomp the ground. You got to put your arms. You know what I'm saying? You got to put the event out there. You got to do it. Stomp the ground. You got to get out in the community. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know. Contact all your associates. You know, hoping they support you. You know, but no, they support you though. You know what I mean? You have to, you know, social media, advertise out, continually advertise on social media. You know, push your tickets out. You know what I mean? You just take that's being consistent, staying out there to let people know about what's going on. You know, you just can't depend on social media. You just can't depend on being out in the streets. You know what I mean? And you got to depend on the people that you surround yourself with and hoping they support you. You know what I mean? It's a grind. You know, when me and Knowledge first started, we was doing the show once a month, and then, you know, but Poetics came in. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, it take a toll on you, man. So we gonna be doing events 4 times a year. You know what I mean? Starting with this one, man. But you know, it just take work, man. You just can't put no. I think say we gonna have an event and then just step back.
Right.
I mean,
One thing kind of to piggyback off what you're saying, and one thing that I know has worked for us in the past when we've gotten together and put on shows, we always want to bring a concept to it.
Right.
We always want to bring an underlying idea to it. So, you know, instead of having just a regular open mic or just having a regular, you know, just any type of showcase, we've always in the past, and we'll continue to do it in the future, we've always added that the concept of the show, whether it was community building, community oriented, finding the value in the community, and now following suit, we have this show for health and healing, which is definitely directed towards our community. So one thing that puts our show separate from any other one is the ideas and the concept that we bring to it, because we want to focus on different specific topics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely focusing on topics that's relevant to us as a people. You know, we take pride in doing that, because a lot of people don't want to attack certain things that go on in the community and stuff like that. They want to sit back and live off the conscious fame, or live off the them being notarized by certain people in the community. We don't really care about that. We be in the community anyway. When I met these guys, even, you know, other people in the community, they was already in the community. They was already, you know what I'm saying, beating the streets and stuff like that. So, you know, we just try to put some things together that's unique and that's beneficial for the people.
Yeah, I definitely want to stay in that lane right there, because, you know, y'all 3 personify the work. So personifying the work, a common thing that I heard with all 3 of y'all shared was relationship. You see what I'm saying? We have a stigmatism that we can't work together. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Black men can't work with black men. Black women can't work with black women. We can't work together. You see what I'm saying? So I want to give y'all a chance to kind of unpack that, because y'all are business partners together, making things happen. So I always want to highlight that whenever I can, because y'all are examples of the opposite of what's out there. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, kind of go into that. And then, as you just stated again, Knowledge Born 7, working in the community, like, what's that relationship? Like, what does it take to have build a proper relationship in the community? So in instances like this, when you are putting on things like that, not just people coming out because it's an event, but coming out because you established a proper rapport with people, and they know that when they come out, they're going to have an experience where they can have something actionable that they can implement in their life if they're paying attention to. So.
Definitely having good character. I believe, you know, everybody on this panel has good character. That's number one. And learning how to disagree and agree, and just push towards the agenda that we have at hand. If it's poetic show, it's poetic show. We backing him. I'm not there to get no shine or no light. If I'm in the building, I'm in the building. If anything happen, I run it by him. Same way if it's, you know what I'm saying, if Kenwardo, you know, has a suggestion or something like that, I know for a fact that we take all our suggestions into consideration. If it sound good, then one of us be like, okay, brother, you're right, we'll do that. One thing, another thing too is admitting when we right and when we wrong. It's no big thing admitting you right or you wrong. It's not gonna hurt you or destroy your character. We men foremost on every different aspects. And then on top of that, by us being men, all of us are knowledgeable in our certain area. So if it's something that I know that Poetics does, I'm like, yo, call brother Poetics. Same way with Kenwardo. You know what I'm saying? If there's anything dealing with going a little bit further into the community for dealing like with different organizations or the homeless, man, call Kenwardo. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to carry many hats and do many things. And we hold that to ourselves, and then people see that in the community. People have commented about me, Ken, and Poetics, you know, as far as like in the community, being honest. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to tear our people down. We basically build off information. If we have an answer for it, we'll answer it. If we don't have an answer for it, then I say I'll get back to you on that. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest, having good character. And when you have good character, then you be able to present consciousness in a way whereas it's a more of a universal concept. Because if you say you chem it, when you say you consciously chem it, you just in that box. You know what I'm saying? But if you say, you know what I'm saying, you well rounded. So therefore, if something's in the community consciously, that means you can work with Kemet, you can work with Hebrews, you can work with Moors, you can work with 5% Nation, and you can also work with the Nation of Islam. So that's it right there. Having good character, us working together, taking all suggestions into consideration, and we agree. You know what I'm saying? Even if we learn to agree, even if you disagree, and that's how we build.
Mm. Yeah, because I was just thinking about it, working these two brothers. We never had no problems, man. We never had no problems. You know what I mean? So that's the way I like to work. You know what I mean? I don't like working around people that want to play the boss role or I'm bigger and better than you, bro. You're not gonna get nowhere like that, man. I always have different things that we bring to the table, man.
Right. I think one of the major things, and there's actually two kind of things I want to touch on. Like one of the major things is just having a common objective, common goal. Right. You know what I mean? In the midst of any journey, because you talked about the stigma surrounding Black men working together, but anything that's going to take, you know, some work and ethic and team effort and teamwork to achieve is going to take a combined effort. When you work in there, you want to have that common goal. You want to have that common objective. So even along the journey and along the path, you may bump heads, but as long as we have the same intended outcome, the same outcome, as long as we want the same things for each other, then, you know, we can have, you know, stumbles and we can have those things. But what the actual goal is what's going to, you know, make sure that we reach that finish line. The other thing is and this is one of the biggest things, you know, I want to kind of speak towards our people. A lot of times we hear these stigmas and these stereotypes, and because they're perpetuated within your mainstream media and your mainstream narrative, we believe them. So when they start, and then we're in a situation right now with Kanye West and a lot of these things about speaking out in public about, you know, certain things and you know, taboo subjects. But when we start talking about this stigma about Black men not being able to work together, it's a stigma and it's a stereotype that's pushed through mainstream media for the sole purpose of keeping us from working together. Because just how you'll say that there are Black men who can't work with other Black men, there are Irishmen who can't work with other Irishmen. There are Italians who can't work with other Italians. There are other groups of ethnicities who won't. There are Chinese who won't work with other Chinese people. Now, although there might be a little bit more cohesion within their culture because there aren't as many different attacks on their culture, there aren't as many different you know, however you want to put it, how many threats to their culture. But as culture goes, there will always be people who will not be able to work with each other, Black, white, or indifferent. But the goal is not just to work with anybody that's Black. And that's one thing that we have to understand as a people. The goal is to work with like-minded individuals who have the same common goals, same common objectives, same common value. And that's the goal. And when what you see here on the screen is three men who have the same common goals, same common objectives, and same common values. And when we come together with those three things in line, guess what? It doesn't matter who's not for us, because they won't last. You know what I mean? And so that's one thing that I'll truly say about our collective here that we got from day one. I've met all of these individuals. You know what I'm saying? Kenwardo, I think I believe and we always talk about, I met you within the first probably 3 or 4 days of me even being in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So that's the power of attraction right there between like-minded individuals. And knowledge, I remember the first time I hearing you speak. The first time Knowledge Born 7, I remember the first time I heard you speak was at the Black Dot Cultural Center up in Lithonia. And I remember saying to myself, I got to meet him. I got to know what he knows. Because at that day you were speaking about freight brokering and getting your freight brokering license. And when you hear men speak about different industries, not so to make money, but to instill power in our community. Because when you start talking about the ability to broker freight internationally, you're talking about positioning yourself in an economic power. You're talking about the world of commerce. I know we've had a lot of conversations about that, but just hearing brothers like that speak, that's what forged the relationship that we have now. And so what we create from it will only be, like you said, development, growth.
Ken looked like he wanted to say. Go ahead, Ken. If you want to say something, go ahead now. Come on. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, you ain't coming down to the show, man.
I think I'm gonna be in the building, man.
If I can't
physically be there,
man, you got to be there, man.
I'm gonna buy a couple tickets anyway. That's another thing. You see what I'm saying? That's another thing I want to say to people. To our people. If you can't be there, buy a couple tickets, man. Sponsor. There's plenty of events I couldn't make it to, but I sponsored maybe like 10 or 20 people to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, because everybody don't have it all the time. You don't never know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? So be like, hey, 10 people free. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, just how it goes, where it goes, because you don't know what that'll do to get over the hump, or you understand what I'm saying? Because I do events, we know what that is. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, all right, you out there, you invested time, energy, you got sweat equity, you out there pounding the pavement, all of that stuff. And everybody will tell you a dream. You see what I'm saying? Come game day, we look around and we look around at each other, looking at the watch. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? So, all of these things kind of help insulate. You see what I'm saying? So if 500 people bought a ticket, but 100 people showed up, the venue's still good. Everything that's associated with it is still a good opportunity and an incentive to put on more events. We have to learn how to insulate each other in that kind of way, so other things can continue to go and they can grow. You see what I'm saying? And we ain't on here with no crooks. You understand what I'm saying? So like when Knowledge Born 7 said about character, that's a main thing. Like, ain't on here with crooks and talking about we about to build a rocket ship to go out of space. Like, nah, we helping our people right here in the communities where we work and live. And the beautiful blessing about it is that everybody met each other in the path of work, like in work for our people. You see what I'm saying? Not for our detriment, for our benefit. Like, we often bring folks to the table that work tirelessly for decades for our detriment. And this is who we begin to look at as a litmus test, and we overshadow the men and women that's right in our face. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I love the fact that y'all putting on this event. And then the last part I'm going to say about that is, honoring a Black woman in a time where they got our sisters on display in the space of degradation. You see what I'm saying? An artful, incentivized, multi-tiered funded movement to distort the image of Black women. You understand what I'm saying? So simultaneously, the effeminization of the Black male, that the shiftlessness in regards to this approach to the Black male, and then the reassignment sort of mentality of the Black family, But then the most egregious part, you see what I'm saying, of this subjugation, this misrepresentation of the black woman. So, I could have y'all speak to that if y'all wanted to speak to that. This is just something that these are identifiers. You see what I'm saying? Because we have to have qualifiers and disqualifiers. We got to have standards and things like that in order for us to operate. Because a nation has a rewards and punishment system based off the standards that are set. So what's the standards that's set? What's the precedents that's set? So I just wanted to see if y'all wanted to speak to that, in essence.
Yeah. One thing I learned is this: in any civilization, when a civilization really begins to go down, it starts with them disrespecting the woman. The woman plays a very essential role and part in everything that any civilization, you know what I'm saying, plays a very major role in any civilization. One, the woman is a nurturer, and we have to look at the spirit of a woman and what she does. She's also a teacher. In ancient times when the men were out in the field, the women were left, you know what I'm saying, teaching. When the men were hunting, the women were there teaching, organizing, making sure that the homestead stayed correct. Not just only that, though. The woman signifies wisdom. The woman also signifies the ability to put the male and female energy into our men as well. There's just a balance in everything. When you get into the laws of nature dealing with Tahuti, one of the laws of nature is gender. Everything is balance, and balance is also part of Mayat. So we have to look at every concept as far as dealing with our culture as a whole and really start to be strategic and putting out information. Whereas if we do not disrespect the woman, the black woman, the melanated woman, also all life is in the black woman. Every race can be in the black woman. You know what I'm saying? She's the only woman as far as any other race that can do this. So, like I say before, she plays a major key and a major role. And we got to change the narrative and change the idea and what we putting out as far as our energy. And we have to move real strategically because, one, the government has given the black woman all these benefits. So therefore, it's crippling our culture because you give the black woman so many benefits. It take away sometimes from the black man as what he's supposed to do. So if you give the woman benefits, then you have the woman now. She will say, "I don't need a man for anything." That's the worst thing that a woman can say. You do need a man. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gender. Gender means male and female. That's the balance. So when you say you don't need a man for anything, I buy my own house, I bought my own car, I buy my own diamonds. Then we get into the women. Then we get into women liking women. So everything plays a major key and a major role in what we do. When we have to uplift the black woman, and it's a very revolutionary thing when the black man shows the black woman the real revolution and give her the real knowledge as far as consciousness.
No doubt. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that. If we're talking about the masculine and the feminine, we live in a patriarchal society, and not just any patriarchal society. It's a white European patriarchal society. And the reason why the white patriarch has been able to achieve the power and control that they have been able to in this current society and environment is because they have been oppressing the feminine for a long time now. And when we talk about the feminine, and not to go against anything, but when we talk about the feminine, we're not just talking about females. We're talking about what the feminine energy brings to our reality, to our existence. And when you oppress that, when you suppress that, there are certain cause and effects that come along with it. And what we're looking at right now is the suppression of the feminine energy, which means there's a lot less nurturing going on in society. There's a lot much less caring. There's a lot less intuitiveness. There's a lot less empathy. There's a lot less There's a lot less of a spiritual connection between within our reality, not even between, but within our reality. And so what we have is we built a lot of superficial connections. And these superficial connections come along with superficial education. And so when we're taught about our world and we're taught about our environment, we're taught about the relationships we have with each other and with ourselves and with the Most High, it's being taught to us from such a narrow point of view, such a biased point of view. We don't get to understand the full capacity of who we are and what we're doing here. And so what happens is our actions and our conduct and our character and our personality, it reflects an underdeveloped individual, because we have not developed the feminine and the masculine at the same point in time for us to be whole and complete. Instead, we're dealing with a bastard, a sub I would say maturity. When you see like we talk about like an embryo maturing, and you see an embryo growing and sprouting out limbs and things like that. As a people, we have to mature so that our minds be able to understand and be able to see what we have to put into the world in order for it to prosper. A lot of times we just operate from very basic primal existence, and that's because we've only been leaning on this I want to say kind of like I say bastardized version of what masculine energy is. It's a very misrepresentation of what masculine energy is, and it's only been that way because there's been a suppression of the feminine, and we see that in the world today.
Ken, man, talk to us, Ken. And I'm showing them that work. This the reason why they having the SunGoddess Experience. Okay, I need them to see that work, because they be pounding that pavement, man. I'm so serious, man. Serious. I be pounding that pavement everywhere.
I'm showing, you at the website, Shelly AmenSet products.com. That's some of the products she sells, you know what I mean? That's some of the apparel line as well, you know what I mean? So she specializes in scented shea butters, though. That's her specialty right there. So she gonna be there with the scented shea butters, the sugar scrubs, the bath soaps, all that smell good stuff. That's all natural. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we call it the SunGoddess Scents, the one-stop natural shop, because every product that we sell is natural and it's good for your skin, body, mind, and soul. So yeah, we're gonna present her. So once again, I just want to say, come on through. October 29th at the Omenala Griot. I want to give a special shout out to the owner of the Griot, Mr. Kevin Williams. He always rock with us. We always rock with him, man. I love that brother. Can't wait to see him. Yeah, that's some of the apparel line, you know what I mean? But Brother Poet's got on one of the t-shirts right now, the Being Black is Dope. You know what I mean? He always support. I
catch the new one every single time I come out. We got the revolutionary dripping over there. Matter of fact, I gotta get another one actually. There was some tea that was spilled on the last one.
Which one?
The revolutionary dripping. I had some tea dripping and it got on there. I'm gonna have to get another one. But as always, whenever you come out one, I make sure I go and grab it.
Right. I'll give you a discount on the next. What size you wear? Large, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a discount, but But see, that's what it's all about, us supporting each other and stuff, man. We live big on that, man. That's the way we live. We just don't talk about it, man. We walk, man.
Listen, let them know.
Oh yeah,
we
support, man.
Role play, man.
That's right. Steady.
Every time I step on the stage, I gotta have something on that's representing who we are. Whether it be my man Rebel down there, whether it be Kenwardo, Shelly, whether it be Knowledge, whether it be Knowledge Born. There's a lot of things going on. So yeah, always gotta support each other.
Yeah. And it's about support, man. You know what I mean?
Y'all know how hard I had my hand over my heart. It was glowing. Baba Mukasa had on a Do the Knowledge Radio shirt in the picture.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I don't need to say nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to say nothing. The man who coined the term Black Power had on a Do the Knowledge Radio shirt, and he was proud too.
Right.
He had to join up. Like, I said, oh man, you understand? I said, I'm brute. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And I wanna, end it off kind of with entrepreneurship because, this is the basis on how you're able to put yourself in position to control your time. You know what I'm saying? Now I was born 7, that's my big brother, man. So he always say like, hey man, don't waste my time. You understand what I'm saying? He will let you know, like, don't waste no time. I don't like wasting my time, wasting nobody's time. I ain't wasting nobody's time and no money. You understand what I'm saying? They tell you that quick. You see what I'm saying? So when you put yourself in position to control your time through, these artful means, like, who are you waking up for? What are you waking up for? You understand what I'm saying? Like, these are questions. Like you see cats out there, you see all of the traffic, people crashing into each other. Most of those people are not in control of their time. So they're literally dying for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're literally on the road, rushing, crashing into somebody, barely sleeping, all of that stuff. Your health, your well-being is all affected, and you don't own your time. So, y'all putting these things together, as entrepreneurs, helping us heal, helping us learn, helping us build, helping us come together, and ultimately, showing us actionable ways to control our time. So can we talk about entrepreneurship and how that's a must amongst our people?
If I could touch on this on this real quick, because a couple things I want to speak on. One, we don't speak enough about how much our alarms to wake up in the morning and go to work, how much of an effect it has on our nervous system, how we're supposed to go to sleep and how we're supposed to be woken up. So there's real health implications that go towards the society, the way that we live in the society, being structured to work. I remember being younger and recognizing 8-hour shifts, and then getting older and seeing 10-hour shifts, and being older and seeing 12-hour shifts. And we never talk about the effects. Matter of fact, there's actually what's his name? Karl Marx, actually. And Karl Marx was getting a lot of talk in this country because he supported the communism. But the Communist Manifesto actually has some real good verbiage on what happened when you start living in a society where you're running off these 10-12-hour capitalistic shifts. That's one thing. The other thing was, I remember the day Knowledge Born told me, he said, you can't be sovereign if you got a job. You remember that? Yeah, you can't be sovereign. You was looking at, we was doing, I ain't gonna go into it, but we was doing something, and it was the my background was there, and you knew I was doing the roofing at the time, and you had mentioned to me, you was like, you can't be sovereign if you got a job. And so to speak towards that entrepreneur spirit, and all three of us on here right now have an entrepreneurial spirit, and we're in that. In order to be sovereign, in order to be able to call yourself a sovereign individual, you have to be in control over your resources. You have to be in control over how you acquire your resources. And the test of any nation is going to be, how can you produce and provide resources for your people? You know what I mean? Across the board, that's just what economics is. So when we start speaking about that, and there are certain individuals who haven't had that part of their spirit woken up yet. Now, there are some people, you know what? They might be better off working. They might be better off. But when that part of your spirit is woken up, because it's in all of us, there's no person in here that wakes up and just be like, you know what, I'm going to be dependent for my entire life. Nobody was born with this plague of dependency. It was something that you got nursed into, something you got programmed into. And because a lot of our kids go through this education system that programs you to be just in the pipeline of being another worker, being another factory, being another yes man, being another whatever, you get nursed into that, and after a while, you don't have the spiritual substance to break free of it. Now, for a lot of us, like the men that you see right here, that spiritual substance that I'm talking about, that's just the spirit in you that wants to be sovereign. It's just that spirit in you that wants to be that knows that you can be the provider and the provider for yourself, your people, your close ones, things like that. So when you know that in your spirit, it's easier for you to go out and take the chances, overcome the obstacles, go through the trials and tribulations of being an entrepreneur. Because a lot of people are turned away because they've been nursed into this comfortable system of getting a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. So they just they pacify it, they love it. But for those who have that spirit to be able to do for themselves so that they can provide for others, because that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur. We don't be an entrepreneur just so you could say I'm going, on a vacation next week. We be entrepreneurs so that we can have control over the resources, so that then we can pass it along to others, and we can be that plug for our community. That's why being Black owned is so important. Being Black owned isn't just to be Black and then go act white or act European. It's being Black to be Black, support Black, and then start that facilitation, that perpetuation of Black resources and economics. And that's the whole point about being Black owned, supporting each other, being an entrepreneur. Put yourself in a position of power. Put yourself in a position of controlling resources. Be the plug. Don't just get the bag. Be the plug.
That's right.
Because guess whose bag is bigger? The plug.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is it's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying that, like I didn't have no trials and tribulations. I'm saying that once you build yourself up, then you're good to go. And that's the main thing of being sovereign, and being independent. You have idea, manifest idea. And entrepreneurship is really what service you have you can present to the public for equity. You know what I'm saying? In the process of that. So what skill you have, what idea do you have, anything you have you can present to the public, and that's how you make your money. And you just go for that. But anytime you're going against the machine, you want to be sovereign. That's the first thing you have to do is be independent. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you out here living on this land, you got two different set of rules. You got laws of the land, you got laws of the water. And one of those is more or less a lie, and the other one is more or less a curse. But if you learn both of them, you can utilize both of those to your advantage, and you can move very strategically in the public as well as the private. I'm gonna speak like that. But get your LLC, get your EIN number. EIN number is free. They're gonna get your social, get your EIN number. This is just a start right here. Once you do that, then you want to set up your EIN number and set up your business checking account. Business checking account, savings account. Then go get your 1-800 number. Once you get your 1-800 number, start listing yourself. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of free websites that let you set your website up for free. And then once you do that, start doing a little marketing. Take one product, market it, have you a very decent bio. You know what I'm saying? Set your terms and conditions. Set if you're selling a physical product, you want to set up your refund, and then go from there. Do a little marketing and see what happens. I'm gonna tell you how I got off my job. I did part-time, and then I did part-time for my business, and I was very serious about it because one, the bills do not stop coming in. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of winged myself to build up my customer list. Whereas if I took myself off my job and I was the job, you know what I'm saying? And then when other people come to me and ask me questions, I'll be like, hey, give me, you want to know what I know? Give me $200. No, I didn't do that. You got to share the information. You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to cripple you or hurt you, you share the information. And people be like, I don't share information because he's going to be my competition. I tell people this story. Racetrack and Quick Trip are right across the street from each other. Two different brands, two different things. Kroger and Publix is right across the street from each other. Two different brands, two different things. Both of them has one has a low markup, one has a high markup. We got two different people in this world. We got people who gonna go to Quick Trip. We got people who gonna go to Racetrack. Point blank, plain and simple. So in anything you do, be wise in what you do. Look at the disadvantages. Look at the advantages. Do the real research. That's how I got that name, knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Do research. I do a lot of research. Go to Google. People walk around with smartphones and we don't use them. Go to Google. Use your smartphone. Take notes. You got notes in your phone. You can put notes in your phone. You can do everything on your phone. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. You can do it like that. Take notes. Feel yourself. Take your time, and then when you see the results, you're gonna be happy.
One thing, that you touched on, and we all know Brother Clive, and we've talked about this amongst ourselves, and it's been an idea, but to be able to create a business incubator, be able to talk about commerce, be able to talk about economics, creating programs for our people to understand the game that we're playing. I was able to do a podcast with a brother that we all know. We were on, I forget the name of the program, but we were talking about just the nature of economics. And it's for us, especially because we weren't taught the game. The United States has a history, and we've only been included in a certain percentage of it, a certain portion of it. But for the most part, we haven't been able to learn how they move with their economy. And so now we have, over the last couple of decades, we have certain things coming out and people are learning different things about the economy and what it means to have credit and what it means to start a business and what these economic policies mean and things like that. And so we're now coming on to the game. Now, the good thing about this is because if you know Black people, you know that we know how to hustle, we know how to survive. And so when we're giving this new information, I'm excited to see what happens with it over the next 10, 15 years. But as we stand right now, we still got to create the programs. We still got to create the environments where we could teach each other about these business, about being an entrepreneur, about starting businesses, about why, you don't like, the whole American gangster line where you don't know the owner of Coke and you don't know the owner of Pepsi. Well, why is that? Why is it the fact that people get LLCs and what type of tax advantages happen when you start creating a business, and what does it mean to actually own a business? You know what I mean? You don't understand that that's its own separate entity that you can wield and control in the world, in the realm of finance and commerce. And that's something that's in 2022 we need to know about. You know what I mean? Also, we had a disadvantage. So without going too deep into it, these are some of the things that we have to know. We have to learn and we have to teach each other in order for us to be self-sufficient, in order to be sovereign. And the last thing, just to piggyback off one of the things that Knowledge had brought up about starting a business, not only starting your business, but understanding what benefits having a business gets you. Because, and one thing I've learned in my journey of being an entrepreneur, starting a business, if you do it right and you understand what type of environment you're in, there are certain perks that come to being a business owner that isn't necessarily tied to just cash flow and income. There's certain tax advantages. There's certain just advantages overall. We would have to have a longer conversation to talk about all the different advantages. But when you get your LLC and you start your business, develop your trade lines, develop your lines of credit, develop your Dolly, we talked about this in the past about understanding what trade lines are, understanding what credit lines are, understanding where these credit scores, which is credit is king nowadays in 2022, but we have to understand the idea of credit. We have to understand the world of Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. We have to understand FICO scores. We have to understand these things. Now, it sound crazy, sound wild, but this is the environment we're in. And if we're going to go to war, we have to understand our opponent. We have to understand the atmosphere we're in. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything they do, but I will agree with the fact that it's important that we know the strategies of our opponent, of our adversary. So being business, America is business. America itself is a corporation. It's not a country, it's a corporation. So if we're going to go and build our own and come up from under their oppressive nature and environment, and we have to be able to build our own, and we're going to have to be able to build it with institutions. We're going to have to be able to build it with commerce and economy, because that's the way the world works right now. We aren't, and we've all here have done our research into the philosophies, the principles of comedic sciences, from going back to the Muslim Islamic religion to the Hebrew faith to all these things, but we still live in 2022. So we have to take that information and still apply it to today's environment. And that's going to play a big part when you start talking about education and economy. Education and economy. And those are the two biggest things right now. And entrepreneurship marries the two. Because the child of entrepreneurship, the child of economy and education is entrepreneurship. And I truly believe that, and that's what we gotta push that.
Your children can't inherit your job unless they're working for you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You get hurt on that job, you up out of there. They're getting you up out of there. You understand?
And one of the things, and we've had and just different brothers and the collective. But one thing that we haven't been able to, the way that the wealthy protect their wealth in their children, the different things that are out there that are available, that you might read like, wow, like I never even knew this. Like, for instance, I know knowledge, we've talked about this before. Come on, we talked the trust, just the trust in itself. If you understand the trust, and I'm not saying that I understand it completely, but you already know I've dove into the idea of trust, and I'm looking to plan and build my own. So this is not to say like, oh yeah, I did it, go and do it, but just the idea to understand what a trust is will give you advantage in today's economy, because it tells you something about how this country values you, because a trust supersedes United States Constitution. And so your trust has to be respected by the United States government. So if you have something that stands on the outside of the power of the government, for someone who doesn't agree with the government, how much power does that give you? And how can you maneuver that vehicle? How can you use it to your benefit? And without going into any ideas, just think about that. The ability to do something outside of the governance of United States. Because we know to this point in time, that has been our oppression, the governance of the United States. So the possibilities of just understanding how the world works give you so many different recourses of action. You know?
That being said, man, we closing on out, man. Nice build, brothers, man. Closing on out, brother Knowledge.
You make sure y'all come on out. Vocal Dialect presents the SunGoddess Experience. Poetic's gonna be the host. I'm gonna open up the show. We got a lot of people who are gonna be in the building. Make sure you come out, get your tickets early. You know what I'm saying? $10 on Eventbrite, $15 at the door. We got some real dope vendors gonna be in the building. We got some real dope food vendors gonna be in the building. So come out. This is gonna be a great experience. We're gonna have a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge. And you know, if you can't come out, you know, show a little support. Send us a donation. Go to Vocal Dialect, VOKAL Dialect, on Instagram and Facebook. The link is in the bio to Eventbrite. You know, and before we close it out, I want to thank my brothers, and I want to thank Knowledge Born Allah, you know what I'm saying, for having this show, putting us on. And you know, it's just a real dope experience to work around someone like-minded and melanated, and we on the same thing, and it's all about us. Point blank, period. It's about us. Like Fubu put it out there, for us, by us. We got to live by that concept and make sure it's for us, by us.
No doubt.
For real.
Definitely.
Tell them real quick before you go, though, about the proper propaganda campaign and poetics. I can't have you leave without speaking about the other aspect of what you do, because that's poetic too. That's poetic to my ears. You understand what I'm saying? So tell them about, you know, Rebels Roundtable, you know what I'm saying, Revolt Discussion Radio, these propaganda tools that's there, and poetics, man. Tell us about your organization.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Well, the biggest thing is that letting know where people that we're here. And that's not just the Royal Black Guard, that's not just the Rebel Roundtable, that's not just RBG. That I want everybody to know that the individuals, see, we're guided and directed by a lot of things that happen in mainstream culture. And because mainstream culture is what we see every single day on the TV and our news feed, on our Instagram and things like that, we feel like that is the world. But there are individuals out here who do know the truth. There are individuals out here that know how to build, that understand cooperative economics. There are individuals out here that do understand collective economics, resources, collecting resources, building, gaining property, things like that. People out here that understand the need for that. And so what happens is that message is oftentimes drowned out. And so what we have here is the platform where, and especially we've been able to be on the platform Rebel Vision, and shout out to my man Rebel. We've been able to broadcast that message that there are men out here that believe in. And one thing, and then we always talk about relationships and men and women and that divide. And one thing I want people to know is that if you're dealing with someone who values European culture, then they're not going to value the Black woman, because there's nothing about European culture that values the Black woman. But what you want to do is you want to find the men and women that value your culture. And because we're out here, and because we're creating our platforms, and because we're putting brick on top of brick, anything that's false, anything that's fake gonna fold. Everything that's fake gonna fold. And so the fact that we're putting brick to brick to brick, it may not be the biggest structure, it might not get the brightest light, but it's gonna stand because it's true. And so the things that you see right now that are fugazi, it'll have its time to fall, it'll have its time to crumble, because that's what it's gonna do. It can't stand on its own. And so this is the classic game of the tortoise and the hare. We may build brick by brick, day by day, one by one, but we do it truly and we do it consistently. Now that fast pipe up, that fast, this is what it is. They giving out marketing messages, they branding this, White Lives Matter, they throwing it in your face. Oh, that's the pop. That's the hype. It's gonna fold. It's gonna be a new campaign in 3 months. It's gonna be another campaign in 6 months. Why? Because they're gonna have to continually lie to you. They have to continually lie to you. With the truth, we just gotta stay steady. You just gotta stay steady.
Yeah, can't get no rawer than that, man. He said it all in a nutshell, man. So, yeah, Rebels Roundtable. Follow Rebel Vision Television. I got tongue twisted. Rebel Vision Television, you know what I mean? Check out, subscribe to the channel, man. Check out our past interviews. We had Brother Poetis on there a couple times, by himself and with the Royal Black Guard. Shout out to them brothers. I love y'all, brothers.
And if I could just to touch on it a little bit, shout out, yes, we are the Royal Black Guard. We were able to be on the Rebel Vision's platform. We had a great conversation. One of the things that we stand for, number one, is a community defense organization. Our primary objective is to protect our community from all acts of aggression and threats, primarily police. That's internal and external. That's the Royal Black Guard. You can check us out at royalblackguard.org or the Royal Black Guard on Instagram. But more so than that, it's the underlying message is to create power in our community. Power, structure, control in our community, for us, by us, like my man Knowledge said, and my man Kenwardo alluded to earlier.
All right. Then we also had you on a couple of times, Knowledge Born Our Life. You know what I mean? So check the channel out, Rebel Vision Television on YouTube. Check out our past interviews. We have an upcoming interview Tuesday. We're going live at 9 p.m. We're going to talk about the Willie Lynch letter. And also Thursday, 9 p.m., we're going back live again with the brother, Killer Priest. It's going to be in the building. So check out the channel, like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that. And you can also catch me and Knowledge Born 7 on Revolt Discussion Radio on the Knowledge Born Our Live channel. You know what I mean? Do the Knowledge Radio. Every second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. So check it out. And we're thinking about doing it more than that, man. I got to give it knowledge, man, because I've been having some positive feedback on the show over there, too, as well, man.
Final thoughts for the family, and then tell people where to find y'all one more time, and then shout this event out one more again.
Yeah, I started off. You can find me. You can check out my apparel line on IG, SunGoddess Apparel. You can also follow us, the SunGoddess Scents, SunGoddess_Scents on IG. You know what I mean? You can follow SunGoddess Scents like page. You can follow us on Vocal Dialect, that's vocal with a K, on IG as well as Facebook. And you can also call me if you want to. Oh, go to Shelly AmenSetProducts.com too for all the natural products that y'all need. And you can call me personally at 470-798-8527.
Yeah, you can find me at Aesthetics Apparel, ESTHETIKS, Aesthetics Apparel. Click the link in the bio, take you straight to my website. And, come to the show, check it out. It's going to be a real dope show. If you have any questions about my website or me or any page, 404-913-7165. And always, check us out for new merch and new apparel. We got a lot of new stuff coming, so, be on the lookout.
No doubt. You can find me where the sun get hot. I'm going to be all over. Listen, I'm going to be at the, you can follow me on Instagram. That's going to be where I broadcast a lot of different things going on, _POETIX. We have this great show coming up on the 29th. We just had a stage play on the 22nd. And coming up, we have the production. It's going to be the grand preview of the Family Business Podcast. It's something that we've been working on for a couple months. We're looking forward to putting on. We have some people already that have been interviewed, and we have some more, including the gentlemen that you see today, will also be on the podcast. But we got a lot of things planned. Me myself as an artist, I've taken some time off just to dive into that business, that entrepreneur realm space, just because it was necessary. But we're back here. Especially after last night, we're back in that artist space. We're back in that creator space. And there's something for us to always create and give to our people that can push them along. So definitely check out this show this Saturday. It's going to be health and healing, or healing and health. Make sure y'all come out. We're going to have some great speakers from Shelly AmenSet's going to be there. Dr. Bennett's going to be there. Brother Abbasi's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to drop a new poem, never before heard, so you don't want to miss that. And honestly, it's really going to be the vibe more so than anything. You're going to get great entertainment. You're going to get great content, but the vibe and the energy of being around like individuals is going to be unmatched. So definitely come out this Saturday.
Come on.
Yeah, the SunGoddess Experience. Vocal Dialect presents. I can't wait, man. I'm excited about it, man. And just to see our people together, man. That put a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? For real. I love that, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.
Yeah, we out, man. Peace. Black Power.
Yo, peace and Black Power. It's your brother Knowledge Omenala, Do Knowledge Radio. The place where knowledge is born.
Radio.
This is 3K.
Think tank.
This is 3K.
Hey.
This is 3K.
I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. Who duck, who down, return fire. We're the warriors, the healers, enlighteners. I'm tired of the same old, that game old with an upgrade. I'm a sunbathe in the sun rays while my guns blaze and they complain. Devil, my level not attainable. My metal not malleable. I'm a man, didn't need that manual. Reparations is incalculable. Yeah, we want it in blood. Dead in the begging, heading to beheading. Metal to the meddling. Members is aggressive. Getting to the Armageddon. Karma, seem calmer when it comes to retribution. Caliber, catalyst in my clips and I use them on traitors and haters and the ones that spread confusion. Cause the devil's playground wasn't built for our amusement. Hey, meet me at the guard hour. Hey, in these strange days, you gon' need a strong counter. Spin like Beyblade. Impenetrable armor, Orient aura. This story, this saga get gory before it get calmer. Keep holding that revolutionary posture. 85 gon' dip and dodge it, but when they get monster, they turn into MC like earrings and become door knockers. I'm irate, they pirate the culture, send them to Davy Jones' locker. It's okay. Let them think that you lost it. Be patient, this type of thing you can't force it. Play possum, but nah, not know about the road that they can't comprehend, cause the language is coded. We plan ideas and we plan explosives. Make your pockets go from more bits to more bread. The portal done open, they can't close it. You ain't got a sideline, you could cause more risk. No set birth date, no Dorian Gray portraits. It's about to get ugly and these devils can't forfeit. Ancestral memory, so no, I won't forget. What we building is an impenetrable fortress for sure. Every show is just like a courtship, and my flow for sure tighter than your gal's corset. It's okay. We are the source, you can't outsource it. Even Spartans don't want no parts, Neff. What do you know? Before you know it, 3,000 wild Africans at your doorstep. Hey, meet me at the guard hour. Hey, in these strange days, you gon' need a strong counter. Spin like Beyblade. No, we will not cower while the rest they play safe. We will move with God's power. This is not for play. Honor my ancestors, play the Ori day. Peace to you, loved ones, stay dangerous and stay safe. AKAs and AKs coming to make their caves cave. Wreck the race like take case, stay dangerous and stay safe.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them that in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the gritty.
And that motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.